In this video I'm going to speak about some things that I've learned about depression for men, and I'm going to share with you guys, and hopefully we can have a really positive conversation in the box below. I'm going to share some things that I've learned that helped me to get out of depression, and some of these things have helped me to get out of long-term depressions, and some of these things have helped me to get out of short-term depression. So the first most important thing I've learned about, I'm 37 years of age, for men with depression is the first most important thing is to talk about it, is to actually not avoid the conversation, not being scared of the word, and having someone that you can tell that you're suffering with bad depression. Your mum, your dad, brother, sister, your close friend, or a group of friends, or your mentor, or your therapist, or a doctor. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy as men. We're too proud, we're too scared to open up and speak about it. And what I've learned is there's no value in that in the long run. There's no benefit. Like, who are you kidding? It's just going to get worse. And for that pride that you're trying to protect, or your ego, or your masculinity, it's not worth it. Because if you don't speak up and tell someone to get it out, in a confessionary style. I really believe in confession, always have done. It just builds up, it just gets worse, and it's just killing you inside. It's just hurting you emotionally, mentally, affecting your mental health, your self-esteem. So basically you're living a lie. You're not being honest about what's really going on because of the fears of judgment or being seen as someone who's weak. I've come to realise that's just ridiculous. It's actually the opposite. It's actually a lot stronger to admit it, and that's how you face it. That's how it doesn't win. But depression will always win if you don't speak about it, or you deny it, or you bottle it up. But I do understand, of course, why a lot of men find it so hard to come forward and speak about it, because for the first part of my life, that's how I was. So speaking about it is very important. The next thing I found is that if you're not taking action in your life, if you're not facing your fears and challenging yourself, you're going to get depressed. I always get depressed immediately if I'm not progressing in my life. If I'm not pushing myself and facing my fears and doing practical physical things, I start feeling down. I start getting depressed, start getting negative thoughts. I'll start getting bored. I'll start feeling like, what's the point of everything? Things just feel predictable. They don't feel challenging. So a lot of the times men are depressed because obviously they would like to succeed in life, but they're too scared to face their fears. Obvious reasons: scares of rejection, judgment, emotional pain, even scared of getting the success, fear of responsibility, fears of intimate relationships, fears of money, fears of putting yourself out into the world on social media, fears of being in the spotlight, fears of shame, all these different psychological reasons as to why a lot of men will not take action. And that's where my whole teaching come from, actually. My teaching come from going through a terrible depression and just getting to rock bottom. I've said this story many times before, hearing a Les Brown audio tape when I was in my early 20s, and I had enough of being frightened, and I started facing my fears. And as soon as I started doing that, I couldn't believe that the depression started to go away. It actually did go away, and I started to experience real euphoric highs and long periods of happiness, and I felt very secure in myself. So I really believe that guys have got to take more action in their life. Now, obviously, there's different severities of depression. If you had what I had in 2017, where I had to get professional help, obviously I had a mental breakdown. That's not the kind of depression you can just shrug off or say, I'm going to take action. That's when you need professional help. I had to be hospitalized. So obviously if you're going through that, then you need professional help. I'm not a professional, don't reach out to me. I don't mean that rudely, I mean because I'm not, and I can't help you. I'm trying to help you in the best way I can through these videos, my advice. I'm sure a lot of you know that, but if you're new to my channel and you don't know, you know now. Or if you're new, by the way, subscribe, hit the bell. So, I've learnt this from doing the free fearless meetups that I do, that when guys come at first, not all of them, but initially the overriding kind of atmosphere is that they're scared to speak up. They feel that they're going to be judged. They think that it's going to be seen as being weak. But when I open up, Usually if I get, or someone else does, they all start opening up. So men need a safe place to not feel judged, to not feel that their masculinity is going to be attacked or jeopardised, or their identity. And there is a way around this, it's not. And the good thing about today is we have so many role models, and so, heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson, recount a lot of tough guys openly talk about their battles, and then that gives other men the feeling that they don't feel that they're weak. If the heavyweight champion of the world can suffer with depression, then it'll be fine for the next man to openly admit it. And I've opened up about my stuff for many years. So it's all about coming to a solution. Confession's number one, what I said, having someone to confide in and to be able to admit it to yourself. The second one is the taking practical action, and obviously the third one is if you're not able to do those things because you're so unwell mentally, then you need help. You need someone who can help you. So there is always a solution, and obviously depression is a very challenging thing. It's very complicated on many levels, which is why I like getting other people's perspectives. But this has been my experience. Usually when I'm depressed, it's because I'm suppressed. Something's suppressed in me. It might be financial worries, it might be relationship challenges, in the past it might have been some kind of conversation I need to have with my mum or my dad about whatever, or a friend, or some kind of fears or things in the past that are bothering me, or responsibility, whatever's going on. If it doesn't find a way, an outlet to get out, it just gets worse and worse. So bottling things up is never the solution. Never. I've tried it. It doesn't work. If it worked, then I wouldn't even be having this conversation. And I really do agree with what Anthony Robbins says, that human beings, one of the things that makes them happy is progress in their life, even if it's tiny progress in any area, in any format. So if you're helping other people and you can see that it benefits them, you start a positive community, that's progress. Or if you can see that your physique's improving, we need to see progress. I think it's part of our evolutionary drives and the way that we're wired as humans. And for a lot of guys, they're not seeing that progress in their life for the reasons I've just explained, because of their own fears and the fears of opening up. So the depression is getting worse and worse. So the way that you can see progress is by creating an action plan, which is a piece of paper where you write down what your goals are, or what are things that you'd like to do in your life. It doesn't have to be fantastical big goals. And having a routine, having something that you aim for on a daily basis, and then also writing down what your fears are, and then gradually challenging yourself, taking action, becoming fearless. And that's what happened to me. He's right, Tony Robbins, because it was exactly right. All of them are. Les Brown. I started facing my fears way back in 2012, even maybe a bit before that, before I became known in this world of self-help, whatever we want to call it. And I started to see progress in how I felt about myself, which was something that I didn't feel before, because I wasn't taking any action. I wasn't opening up enough. I didn't get that support. So men need support. And the best way we can give support is by being brave and giving support to one another, which is why a lot of people love my videos, and because they're very supportive and they're true and they're honest. And these are real tools that I've used in real life that work. So, progress is something that inspires you to want to keep going, and it makes you happy. It gives you these short-term wins. You see even things like getting up in the morning, cleaning your apartment. That's an example of progress, as opposed to just leaving it messy because you feel depressed. And the same in the dating life. A lot of guys don't have a girlfriend, and they're not progressing in their dating life. They're not speaking to women because of their fears. So they're going to get down. They're going to get depressed. They're going to watch pornography. They might get suicidal. So it really is about getting motivated and getting inspired and feeling empowered and having a goal, a vision, a dream. And it all starts off with very small steps. I never believed I would have got to where I got to, or I could have helped many of the clients or whatever over the years to get to where they got to. I never would have believed that at the start, but it was taking that first step that gave me progress, gave me peace of mind, got me out of depression, which gave me motivation for the next step, which gave me a bit more confidence, and so forth, until you've completely transformed yourself. So these are all the things that I've learned. You know, fitness is so important. I've said it a million times. You've heard Tyson Fury talk about it. You've heard many experts speak about it. What that does for your mind, it gives you good emotions, gives you all those scientific, biological endorphins, serotonin, whatever it's called, happy hormones. It triggers all that. You know, it boosts you. It makes you feel good about yourself. So taking action does that. It has a scientific precedent. It makes you feel good. But inaction, when you just stay at home and you stay in one place, or you get up, just watch films, you get more and more in darkness. So you have to dig yourself out of that pit, like Batman does in the Batman Returns film, or is it The Dark Knight? I can't remember which one it is, where he has to jump out of the pit. And depression's like that. You have to fight it. It has a momentum. It tries to keep you stuck. It tries to silence you. It tries to blackmail you. It tries to frighten you. It tries to make you feel that you're less of a person. You've got to fight it. And in fighting it, you gain your you gain that self-respect back for you. It doesn't mean if someone's got depression that have self-respect, but what I mean is you win your happiness back. And self-respect is one of the words that I feel that kind of best describes that feeling of getting your own power back, not losing it to darkness, or it could even go as far as saying evil, whatever you want to call it, anxiety, all the things that come with it. So it's having this understanding and then it's applying it, and getting help's not a weakness. Getting help's a strength. Confiding in a friend or community, or even to yourself, is not a weakness, it's a strength. Taking action is a strength. So of course, as men, yeah, it's good that we're strong. We can celebrate that. I'm a masculine guy. Well, was naturally strong, masculine. It doesn't mean we've got feelings. We have a heart. We're humans, so we are vulnerable as well. And we need to get the help. Otherwise, just going to be more problems, more mental illness on a much bigger scale. And obviously, with what's going on with the pandemic, it's putting a massive strain on the mental health. Not just saying for men, everyone, women. As I'm talking about mental health for men today, is they need, and it's an ongoing thing. It's not like, oh, okay, I spoke to a friend about depression today, I'll never bring it up again for 10 years. No, you need to have relationships where, obviously, you don't want to drain someone. I spoke about in my video social skills, respecting other people where they're at. But you can do it in a positive way, like I'm doing. There's an appropriate way to do it. There's always a way around it. You know, people are flexible, people are intelligent, they're not stupid. If you talk about it in a respectful way, people are likely to want to help you, and everyone goes through it at some point. There's no one on the planet Earth who hasn't hit into depression. Doesn't matter who you are, what you've got, what money. Depression doesn't care about how much money you got, or how famous you are, what followers you got on social media. It doesn't give a shit about that. It's part of the human challenge. So I like to educate people and help as much as I can, and be honest about excuse me, my struggles with it. But some of the best creative work in history has come from very depressed minds. Some of the best music, I'm not saying all, but a lot of films, literature, poetry, art. If we're being honest, it's not, a lot of time it's not come from happiness, it's come from people being in darkness, and that's why art's been very powerful, very therapeutic. And that's the same for the art that I done. It didn't all come from obviously a dark place, but a lot of it did. How I was able to turn my life around, help so many people get in a good place, get a relationship, build a business, all these social fears that I conquered, and helped so many other people. I continue. So, you taking action is self-explanatory. Self-explanatory in that when you do it, it will make sense, because of the experience will just give you, it will give you those emotions that you probably don't believe that you can get when you are suppressed, and you're stationary in one place. So it's about getting up, getting motivated, progressing, moving. And again, like I said, Anthony Robbins is right. We need progression, and you need to work to do that. You need to have something to contribute. You need someone to serve, helping other people, as also selfishly or unselfishly helping yourself, and having an ear to lend on, being able to talk openly. This is what real men should do. They can talk about pretty much anything. There shouldn't really be restrictions on, because of the fears of judgment. It's kind of immature. We should be well beyond that now. and we kind of are, but there's still a collective belief that, oh, I'm a man, I can't show it, I can't say it. Well, you can. I'm telling you that you can. I'm giving you permission to give yourself permission, because I never thought I could, and when I did it, nothing happens. Who cares about what people think? It's about looking after your own mental health. And if you're going to make yourself sick at the cost of making other people believe that you're someone that you're not, or you're happy when you're not happy, then the joke's going to be on you, and it's not a funny joke, actually. So there we have it. I hope that helped. Become fearless. Apply those things. Confession. Get it out. Take action. And if you can't do those two, get professional help, and the professionals will help you to get yourself back to a great mental state and feeling good again. All right? Become fearless.